Hello and welcome back to Deconstructed. I'm your host, Sam Alamu Mackenzie, and with me, as always, some fellow who works for HLTV. First up, sorry we ain't done an episode, because we don't have schedules that work anymore, apparently. I don't know how they used to work so well, because now we just can't ever find a time to fucking record. But we're here now. We've not really spoke much, have we, actually? How are you doing? I haven't actually asked you since we come on the call.
Yeah, I'm fine. Still going fine. I was away, wasn't I? So that didn't help.
Oh,
but
yeah,
we're
you
back.
were. Good holiday?
Yeah, decent holiday. Just certain clubs I wouldn't go to in Amsterdam if I was you. Some spiking going on, but not for me. So, it happens.
Did you do anything recreational?
No, not me, mate. No.
Bit boring.
Just trying for the culture. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the culture of being recreational. Anyway, let's talk about Team Liquid, shall we? Because
they're a Dutch org as well.
They are a Dutch org, so it's topical.
There you go.
And also, they're a bit fucking shit right now. And they really shouldn't be. And they just shouldn't be. They've got two players playing out their fucking minds, one of the best IGLs in the world, and then they've got Skullz and RMR. But even then, they shouldn't be as bad as they are, because they have just been a massive disappointment. And, going back 6 months, I'm there at World Final asking people their bold prediction for this year, and Henry G's like, Liquid will win the major. They didn't even qualify for the bastard. So, there's some serious problems in this team, and because we happen to be somewhat knowledgeable about this shit game, fuck CS2, that let's diagnose these issues. So let's start with the player who's been in the news because they were talking about benching him, and I have tried to wrap my head around it, and I still can't. So that's my views on the subject. But I think first, let's not talk about cadiaN the leader, and let's talk about cadiaN the player. What do you think about cadiaN as an awper in CS2? Do you think he's dropped off compared to CSGO? Is he missing shots that he never used to? Is the AWP just more difficult? Is he not impactful? What is it? Because he looks off to me.
Yeah, I think it's probably all of those things, to be honest. I don't think the CS2 AWPing excuse is very much dead now. Like, we're moving on from that. That's not an excuse anymore. The good AWPers are good at CS2. I think for me, it's kind of his X Factor clutches have dried up, and that was always how you kind of justified it. Because I remember when we did the episode when the roster got assembled, and I said he wasn't a huge upgrade on OC, like pure fragging wise. Like, it's pretty similar.
Wait.
cadiaN
at this
is just.
point,
Do you remember when I said this?
Can I just cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
Now, after that episode, it turned out that a certain someone might have watched the episode. So I just want to say now that I apologise for anything that gets said in the next 20 minutes, maybe. Although I think it will actually be very positive. I'm going to be very positive.
Yeah,
so maybe this apology doesn't need to happen. But a certain someone did watch it. And I've got that out of the way. Carry on.
Yeah, and I said that, and it was a bit of a, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, because it's just raw numbers. Like, obviously, watching the game, cadiaN has far more impact. But my point was that the firepower had to come from elsewhere. Like, that's always been a thing. Heroic cadiaN might have had a slightly better rating, but, the fragging, he's not there to, like, CT side, yeah, he should be one of the stars, because he's got an AWP, and it's the best guy in the game. But I don't think the drop-off is a huge reason why Liquid are underperforming. I don't think his fragging is why they're underperforming. I think his drop-off, fragging-wise, is a symptom of the system not being at all where he wants it to be. And honestly, I don't really blame him for that. So I think it's, yes, definitely a drop-off, and not really seen any of the normal cadiaN on CS2, but I think it was never really the hinge upon which the team was resting for me.
No, I agree with that take. but I do think it's something where even if Liquid were to be better than they are now, I think when, players like Torsey have stepped up, some Pierson might be finding his groove finally. Like, I think you're at a point now where all of these... I mean, Dexter's come back. I've always really liked Dexter. Like, all these teams around Liquid or above Liquid or at the level that Liquid hope to be, like, they actually are in a space where they've all got solid awpers. And I do wonder where, even though, you look at this Liquid team, and I don't know if you agree, but I certainly think that Twists and Naf would be the two best riflers on this team, or the old heroic team.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I still wonder,
I think Stown is close to their level, but yeah.
Yeah. But I still wonder, when you get to that level where you're actually competing against these teams, not just playing against them, would it be a hindrance that stops them from ever being consistent? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, cadiaN was a top 20 player last year, and like, that was controversial, and it was controversial for a good reason. Like, I'm not sure my personal top 20 he'd be on there, but the reason he was on there was because he was able to peak at the biggest tournaments at the biggest moments, because you can tell he's that type of guy, right? Like, he needs to be fired up, and in this team, it's not there. Like, you can see it in the interviews and everything. It's just not there. But yes, in an AWP head-to-head, he's going to lose against most of the top 10. But that was true in heroic too. This is not, like, AWP head-to-heads actually don't happen very much. You kind of got to be a quite bad AWPer to be, like, it's a bad AWP duel for you to take against another AWPer. That's not something you try and do. You're trying to pick off riflers. It's not like, outside rifler on nuke, fighting the outside rifler on nuke. It's not as huge a differential as it sometimes is. Like, as long as you've got someone who hits the easy shots, it's not like we're not talking about Boomich, right? Like, he's significantly better than Boomich on the AWP. Like, he's still doing, an okay job. It's just, I think it's a system thing. I think his rating would just go up 10 points if the system had buy-in and, it was a bit more fluid and he was a bit happier and the energy was there. And he got into the arena games where he improves. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't look at him and think he's significantly worse mechanically than before. I think it's an environment thing.
Okay, so let's move on to that environment, because something just isn't clicking in Liquid. So before we, talk about the system itself, do you think then, do you think that this drop-off in cadiaN is going to be a consequence of the system just not being strong, or the players not buying into the system and his mental being shot?
Well, I think the second one. I think it's players haven't bought him. I don't think you've ever seen, even at their first event, they were already in issues going, oh, it's going to have to be a merging of styles. Like, no, fuck off. You signed cadiaN. It's like signing Jurgen Klopp and then being like, I don't really fancy pressing me. I'm more of a mid-block type of bloke who just, I want to be ready to counter-attack, I want to be ready. I prefer defending deeper. It is literally like, Jurgen Klopp arrives at your club and the captains, they all turn up and you're like, I don't really fancy pressing. We're just like chilling. I'm just going to keep chilling. Like, what the fuck? It's cadiaN.
Listen,
cadiaN,
mate,
you all have to entry, boys.
Mate, I get the comparison. I do. He's left the club. Get over it. He's gone.
I'm never going to get over Klopp, okay? But it's the thing, I always compared cadiaN to Klopp. That was always because you could see it. It's soldier ball. It's a bit on a budget. It was heavy metal. It was entertaining Counter-Strike. Liquid just any other team. Just any other international team. Some good players. And I think there's...
Side note, just because I've never asked you this and I've realised this. If cadiaN is Klopp, who's Genie Wijnaldum?
Genie Wijnaldum?
Yeah.
Well, it's shush, isn't it? It's shush. It's officer shush.
Okay, fine.
It's officer shush.
Carry on. Sorry.
So, this is the thing. I just think it's not the type of system you half-ass. It's not the type of system you get input from your Kinder and input from Twist. It's like, no, you go all the fucking way. And it does make me think, because it's Astralis playing like it now. Like there are people, you're obviously going to look at that and think, oh, it's probably all Stound then. It's probably just Stound mid-rounding. It's like, no, I don't think it is. I think it's a combination of the two. I think, the Heroic boys clearly like playing like that. They sucked in Blame F's more, individualistic nonsense. They need this type of system to play well. And I think it's true of cadiaN too. I think he needs to be able to play his style. And I don't know, like some of the people on the ground are saying that Twist is doing like most of the calling basically now. And I know that's, it's probably because they've already cut cadiaN basically from what we're hearing. So the thing is like, what's going on? What's going on? Because I just don't see it as a cadiaN team.
I've just had a terrible realisation.
What?
We'll talk about it later on, but I've just had the terrible realisation that if Twist is already doing the calling...
Well, not all of it, but like he's obviously supposed to be the Stound replacement, active second caller,
yeah,
blah,
but if he's
blah,
now
but he's doing a lot of
more,
it.
Yeah, and you and I, again, we'll talk about it later, but you and I see the lack of IGLs who are available. Something really bad's about to happen. But let's get to that. We'll get to that. So, okay, so the players aren't buying into cadiaN's system. And that's
it's important,
one thing.
Just before you go on, I think it's important to nail down what we actually mean by that, because I think I look at it and I see the Zeus Skullz part, and I think Skullz is very much, under Zeus's wing, but not really saying anything. I think Zeus is having too much of a say when he's supposed to be Roban. He's not Zonic. Don't want tactics from you. We watched Fluxo play. We don't want tactics from Zeus. You're there to control personalities, which he's clearly doing a shit job of, I think, judging from how little buy-in cadiaN's got. He's there to kick people's ass when they disagree with cadiaN. For me, that's his job. I don't want him to be interfering on system. It's okay. Number one. Then you've got Twist, comes from FaZe. He's played with, probably Go RGL. At least top 2 Go RGL. He's got a lot of ideas. He wants to play like FaZe, but just, with his boys, I guess. He's talking a lot. He's supposed to be the second voice. He's supposed to be the Stound in this team. Fine. Twist is allowed to talk. Your Kinder was whatever. People said he was a good caller, and it was just, didn't work out. Whatever. But either way, he's probably yapping too much. Naf, probably not saying anything, but he might not be saying anything, but you can tell by how he's playing that he doesn't really fancy the yabby role, does he? Doesn't really fancy that. Probably just, I'll just chill a bit. And it's fine. Get your numbers, Naf. That's fine. But you look at it, and it's cadiaN's on his own. He's the only one. Everyone there disagrees with it. And it's just like, what are we doing? Because it is literally everyone. This is a terminal problem. And I think if you're going to sign cadiaN, they all join and they talk up cadiaN. They're like, oh, he's really good. Like, what has happened? To make them all kind of no one's shown buy-in? Because I thought we would see them become different types of players. I thought we would visibly see Naf and Skullz being the modern lurkers, not the old school passive boys. I really thought we'd see that, and I think you have to lay it at Zeus and Twist, or probably that hasn't happened.
And Twist?
Yeah, he's a second caller. I think he's the loudest voice.
Fine. I mean, yeah, like I was gonna go down the route of like, because cadiaN said right at the start, this isn't going to be heroic. cadiaN said that. He made that clear. So, like, yes, it's clear that players aren't buying
the Klopp's Liverpool was very different to Klopp's Dortmund. It still had a semblance of identity, right?
And that's fine. That's fine. And it's clear the players aren't buying into whatever he wants it to be. But do you not think that there is a slight chance that whatever he did want it to be was a gross miscalculation, that it was never going to work, that these players couldn't do what he wanted them to do, or they just, like you just said with NAF, like, wouldn't like it? Because, you and I, we've said this so many times, is that certain people think that these top-level players should be really versatile, they should be able to adapt, a lurker should be able to entry, and entry should be able to lurk, all this shit, because they're just that good at the game. And it's kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit. Like, these elite players are elite because they specialise in something 90% of the time. It's only, like, certain people like Twists who are actually that versatile.
Well, not even.
Well, but, like, do you not think that that's also a possibility, that cadiaN has actually fucked up on this team? Because it's something that,
Okay.
It's never going to go out publicly unless someone just decides to fucking full-on throw him under the bus. That's never going to be said publicly. But there is a chance that that is what's happened.
Yeah, of course there is. And I would question how much control he had over the signings as well. Because at the time we were positive, and, everyone was positive about Skullz. Because, there was a lot of potential there. It was good Dave, getting moulded under, Zeus's wing, cadiaN's calling. He can improve some of the rough edges. Like, it was only really Maui and King T who were like, no, this guy's actually dog shit. And fair play. They've watched enough demos. He's not that good, really.
He's shit.
And it's not even that he's not that good. It's that profile-wise, he's just not what they need at all. And I remember saying this when they signed Rainmaker, and when they were going after K-Serato, I was like, what we do? NAF is Canadian K-Serato. Like, that is what NAF's best role is. He's an overperformer in pretty, in those small sites, he'll get you 2 kills where other people would get you 1. That's NAF's job. And he's passive as fuck on T-side. That is his role. So why are we signing another one? Why do you need 2? Why do you need 2 NAFs? NAF is very good. I think they don't need a Skullz or a K-Serato. They need a Shush or a Magisk. They need a flex T-side player who likes being the flex T-side player. And it's not just NAF going, yeah, like, my role just changes all the time. Like, okay, fine. Like, maybe say, can I play my good role, please? Because you're going to get the numbers anyway. Like, we can see that you get the numbers anyway. But I think it's because he just plays the same way in every role.
Do you remember
it doesn't really matter.
Do you remember when NAF wanted to, like, retire back in, like, fucking 2018? 2018, 2017? No, it would have been.
Yeah.
One of those 2
before
years.
Renegades.
Well, like, and during Renegades, so he was just a prick when he joined Renegades. It was like, well, JKS, mate, I know you're an alright player, but, yeah, fuck off. I'm the star now.
This is
Do
the
you
thing.
remember when he used to be like that? When he used to just be like, no, this is what I'm doing because I'm fucking good at this game. How is it that years later you have a Liquid team that, okay, fine, was making playoffs, but because it's fucking your Kindar and Elige, that NAF's like, I'm not a star anymore. Fuck this shit. Why'd you become a pussy? You're fucking good at the game. Like, just fucking remember you're good at the game. You might be exceptional in these lesser roles or whatever that makes you feel like you're not a star. You can still be a fucking star.
Well, he is a star. He's
not
already
hard.
a star. He's just in...
Yeah, of course. He's just adamant he's not. So he's
I just think they need to stick him in different roles, right? I think they... No, but it's fine. It's fine. NAF is your perfect third star. Because you've got Twists and you've got NAF.
Yeah.
That's a perfect double punch.
As you've just said, he needs to turn around and say, I am this, let me be this. Not, yeah, but NAF, can you do this? Yeah, I can do this.
He's
and then just not fucking do it.
Yes, I agree with that, because I think they need someone who, as an extremity player, is going to be able to, Yakinda, I looked it up before, on T-side, Yakinda dies first in 23% of rounds. He has an opening success rate of like 35% on T-side. And you know what? We could use that to slander him. I'm not going to use that to slander him, because every single time I've ever watched a fucking Liquid game, Yakinda just runs out in front of people, and they're all like, my turn to trade. And then if Yakinda dies because he's going at breakneck speed, because obviously he's miles away, and then they're all just like, no, you first, because Twists Twist sourced down how we sourced down. He thought, oh, that's a fucking easy job. He's got 3 entries. I'll do that. I'll play these like IGL roles. He's got 3 entries. He just goes in. No one's ever shooted it down. I'll just do that. I'm good at that. I'll do that. So you've got Twist, he's obviously an unbelievable trade fragger. Naf, unbelievable trade fragger. Skullz, Brazilian Beatty boy with good aim. And the combination is no one's fucking entering. And it's not even like they've gone, oh, Skullz, mate, you're not as good as we thought you were. Do you want to start entering? He's not doing it either. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's Twist going ahead of Naf and Skullz. So it can't keep happening. It can't keep happening. I know they spent 600k on Skullz, and I still think he could go back to Brazil and be a very, very good lurker, anchor, K-Serato, regen, whatever. But in this Liquid team, it's just not what they need. It's never been what they needed. And I think I was high on Skullz. I was high on the signing, but I think I was fooled a bit. I think I thought he was more aggressive than he was because he liked, shitting on people worse than him. I think in Tier 1, he's clearly a very passive player, and that's fine. You can have passive players, but Liquid don't need one. They've got NAF, and Leopard doesn't change his spots, I don't think.
NAF should be allowed to do what NAF does best, because there might not be anyone better at it, which means that they do have to find something else, and that is going to be a question for later on. But the problem first is that, okay, so we've gone through this possibility of this system not working or whatever, but let's first just say that the system would work and it's everyone around him's fault. Let's say they do make a change. They make 2 changes, whatever. Is that going to be enough?
I would start with 1, yeah.
No, that's fine. But if you've still got Zeus, like, doing whatever, you've still got your Kindar, who, okay, you're saying Zeus and Twist. I'm saying, given with what happened to Nitro, and I know Nitro wasn't great, I'm not saying that, but given what happened to Nitro, basically in the middle of a fucking tournament, and you and I were both there, we were having a lot of fun standing next to their booth, right?
Yeah, did happen.
I'm adamant that bloke is a problem. Right? And then let's also add in Twist being a potential problem of not buying into this system. What will be enough? Like, I do not think for a second that they should get rid of cadiaN. If you get rid of cadiaN, there is no other option apart from that terrifying realisation I had about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But, like, you've got to, like, there is a tumour within this Liquid squad, and you can't cut out fucking 5% of it. You got to fucking remove it all. Otherwise, you're just going to go back. You're going to get to the same thing. They'll make changes. They'll go into full groups. Like, maybe they qualify or whatever because it's fucking full groups and no one gives a shit. Half the teams are still on holiday because they just get to go to the showdown, whatever. Like, and then it's going to get into whatever the first tournament is. I guess it's Cologne. One of them will come first. And they'll just get fucking bodied again. Because once again, they're not buying into the system. They're doing this same shit. Is it enough? Like, at what point are people going to be like, okay, fuck it, we got probably a top 3 IGL in the world. We should probably listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, the Zeus one is interesting because they clearly want to have a Brazilian angle to the team. Like, I think, if I'm being a ruthless GM, Zeus is gone, and I get in one of cadiaN's pals to be coach, just back up cadiaN in arguments, and then sack off Skullz for, like, Magisk because I've got unlimited money, and he hates Falcons, seemingly. So I just get Magisk in, fine. And then Yukinda. I mean, I think Yukinda would look much better if he had just one other person on the team to sometimes do the entry. Because then he can do more of his... Like, think about Prime Yukinda. How often was he actually just lurking? Because he's just been so aggressive that he's, he's in Red Room on Ancient or something. Or like VP Yukinda would end up lurking a lot, like Flip does. Like he takes the map control and then he stays there and the rest of the team goes to the bomb site. Like that's how it should work. In this team, Yukinda is the bitch hooksy entry. And obviously he's going to play badly. And I think the reason I don't think Yukinda is as much of a problem system-wise as Zeus and Twist is because he's clearly doing what he's been asked to do. He has lost anyone to go in front of him, and he is still running into this brick wall every single round. He's just plus 30% attempts on either side, and we can see in his trading numbers that's not him going on a solo mission for an opening frag. It is just him just getting, traded every round, and it's like, what's going on with this? I don't think you could stick Mavs in for Yukinda and Mavs would be doing any better. I think Yukinda is playing literally hooksy roles. Literally hooksy T-side roles. He's MSL, jumping around a corner. Like, it's that bad without the lurker. So I think it would be harsh to remove Yukinda. Well, it's not harsh. Harsh is the wrong word because he's on $1 million a week or whatever the fuck it is, because they had to pay him so much so he could buy himself out of VP. So he's on stupid money. Like he's definitely worthy of criticism. But we know his level. We do know his level. And who are you going to get? Malves is on an unbelievable contract, I'm pretty sure. We were told. Then there's like, what are you going to do? Get fucking config out his grave. Like, there's opening riflers are hard to find. They're better than Yukinda. Very, very hard. So if it was me, I would be cut Zeus for a cadiaN pal that would just tell them all to grow up. Don't know who that would be. Don't know. Some guy
he needs to be big.
Played with.
Some big Viking cunt.
Yeah, not exist.
Someone that's going to
make
make Twist tremble.
Hunden.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Anyway,
no. Okay.
Not him. But point is, and then you cut Skullz for Magisk and see how it goes. Because I think Magisk would probably be a very good little cadiaN lieutenant if he believed in it. But also Magisk, he's got other ideas of his own, doesn't he? I think he probably has some disagreements as well. I think you're probably just adding another problem when Skullz is not vocal at all. So you got to be careful. One idea you had before we started recording, someone like Volt, very selfless. That type of player. He can play flex, T-side and anchor CT, and he's better than people think.
I think Volt has literally played like every role at this point.
Every single one, yeah.
He uses
and they've just
anchor. And
they signed Andy, so he's back to, because he was rotating at the start of Game of Legion, and then they signed Andy, and he's back to anchoring now. Well, not signed, promoted. So yeah, there are players out there. D is available.
And plus,
that's his preferred T-side role.
No, we're not talking about this. And plus,
funny.
Game of Legion might be a bit more willing to let go of Volt now, because they've actually signed a future major winner to their academy.
What, Flamus? He's on, right?
No, their academy.
Oh, 360.
Have you heard of 360?
Have they signed 360?
Yeah, they have.
I have heard of 360. It'll be in Liquid in here. Yeah. I've heard rumours. Rumours.
Future major winner, either way.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Game of Legion as well, I was give Ash the budget Liquid have had. And I don't think they don't have the same lineup. Put it that way. But he's just signed a new deal at Game of Legion, so he'll be stuck there forever. But I think he deserves a big org with big money. I was going to
say then, before you ruined it with a contract thing, why don't you just get Ash?
Yeah.
He's really good.
But I think he's a bit UK Blade in a sense. I think it's very much his team. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very, like, I know he worked with Shuey, and Shuey obviously
I
very tactical.
I refuse to believe Snacks has that much going on up there.
Well, I mean, yeah, but this is the thing. The type of coach I'm imagining is, maybe you just literally try and poach Robban from whatever the management thinks in your face. But I'm assuming there's a reason he stood down as coach. I think you literally just need someone to come in and agree with cadiaN on the game And maybe that's a short list because, it is a very different way of looking at it to most people. But got to be someone. There has to be someone, surely. Because I think it's too many cooks. It's too many cooks. I think you can have Twist bringing in some cadianisms and whatever. I think you can have Yukinda going, I think I've got to read this round, blah, blah, blah.
I've cracked it.
It's the backroom staff that need to agree with cadiaN on everything, I think.
I've cracked it. You reckon Liquid need vibes? You reckon Liquid need vibes from a coach who's going to back cadiaN? Okay. Hear me out. G2. Taz. FaZe. Neo. Ents. Cuban. Liquid. Pasha biceps.
Pasha biceps.
Tell me I'm wrong.
As a coach.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong. You're really wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably
you're
wrong.
Unbelievably wrong.
I'm probably wrong. But if anyone's going to back cadiaN, surely it's Pasha.
Oh, I don't know. But I think we are living in dreamland. I feel like Zeus has got the ear of the management a bit.
It will be really good when it gets to a major and you see the post on Liquid being like, yeah, so our analysts will be behind the team this event because Pasha's fucking swimming across an ocean to get to this event. He's swimming the entire Atlantic. He might die. Who knows?
Yeah. I know, but there's also... You could also work things out. You could also have the conversation if you're cadiaN. It's the off-season now.
Go on another retreat. Make another video.
Yeah, make another fucking video. That'd be great because, by the way, them and Falcons love a boot camp without a PC, but what they don't love is winning games. So, just saying, maybe bring your PC to your boot camp. Maybe bring a PC along. Maybe play the game before the season starts. That would be pretty good, wouldn't it? That week you spent in the mountain, it's done fuck all, boys. It's done fuck all. It didn't even stop the toxicity, did it? Didn't even stop the toxicity. Did it stop them just loading into Boros?
At least
because they went up a mountain with them. They went up a mountain with Boros, Lamps, and MHL, and they're still just shouting at each other. It's like, what's going on?
It's a different team, Harry.
You just achieved Zen.
Harry, it's a different team.
The point is, these boot camps are bullshit, and we're moving on.
Mind, body, baldy experience.
Oh, he's clearly he's got something about. There's something about it that will help. I think we're giving in too much. It's pseudoscience. Some of it just
woke
play
nonsense.
The game. Woke trash. Yeah. But my point is, I think you can still correct this course. I think they will look at the IGLs available and think, fuck, don't really want Twist or Yukinda IGLing. Don't really want that. And then cadiaN can slap an ultimatum on. Slap an ultimatum. We can carry on, but it's my system. Zeus, you're an emotional support fella now. Maybe have a few pissed around strats every now and again, because they're 50-50 anyway, and it makes you feel good. It feels like you've done something. It's like what LDLC used to do with Shocks. He wanted more say on the team. If you do the pissed arounds, mate, do the pissed arounds. And then he doesn't want to IGL for another 6 months. Great work. Do that. Have someone on pissed arounds. Then you say to management, I know Skullz are 600k, but might have to go. Might have to go because, and I'm not as low on Skullz as other people. I'm really not. I just think profile-wise, he's not the right fit. And I think
poor counter knowledge.
That's
mate.
fine.
Poor counter knowledge.
I'm not as low.
He's shit. I don't think he's ever going to be good. I don't think he's ever going to be good.
I think he's probably one of those players who's moved up too early and will now struggle because he's not going to get back on pain. He's not going to get. I mean, he's not going. He shouldn't go to Furia because he needs to be K-Serato.
No,
but the point is, they just need.
Best case scenario is that K-Serato decides he's had a fucking enough this month.
Yeah, he should be the K-Serato replacement. Yeah.
Yeah, and he should, Fury should be like, go on then, Liquid, how much for us to take him off your hands?
599k, probably.
Liquid are like, no, don't worry, mate. Here you go, have him, have 100k, because we need him fucking gone. He's fucking useless. But, right, we're already sort of talking about him. Let's talk about Skullz, and, I mean, is it the worst? roster move in CS history. Seriously, I know
No.
there's been some stinkers.
No,
but
it's not.
With the money
it's
they
not.
paid for him, he's fucking awful.
But when you
He's
spend that much
awful.
money on a young player, it's because there's resale value. Like, even with as bad as 6 months as he's had, there's still resale value. I would say there's worse. I would think Nip probably got worse bang for their buck with Device, I imagine. That quarterfinal stop game doesn't change anything.
Didn't Astralis pay most of the fee back?
Yeah, but yeah, they did do. Nah, I think that's harsh on Skullz. But my point, Fallen was more than 600k, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, no.
Electronic and Perfecto were like
awful.
$1 million each, like more than $1 million each. I think they were stupid money.
Also,
like there's been some stupid transfers. Skullz was a gamble on a Brazilian young talent that Zeus thought was pretty good at the game. Happens. Because he's Brazilian, he was 600k. And I think one of the other things that fucking really pisses me off is this America's RMR thing. Doesn't matter. If you're a good team, you get through the EU RMR. You just do. You should be signing the best player in his role. You shouldn't be filtering it by Brazilians and then going, oh, we didn't get Caserano. Skullz then?
No,
like what we did. And this is
my
point of...
It's absurd.
Because people are talking about JKS and Heavy God because it's like, oh, they can still do any RMR. It's like, I genuinely believe, as I know how important sticker money is, but it should never be the factor behind signing a player. Ever. And I think with Skullz it definitely was, because there's no way he was going to be the best option out of the whole of Europe.
I also just think, right, like Heavy God, okay, I fucking get it. He's a good player.
He is wicked, but he's naff.
He's a good player, but it's not even that with Heavy God. For me, when you look at the people who have moved from OG, or rather the person, like, how long was Flames on OG? How many like times had they had where they'd actually won a couple of games, and like Flames had very clearly been a big deal in that? Like, this OG, since it's had Heavy God, has done fuck all, man. And I know they're never going to do anything because it's OG and they are fucking dreadful and refuse to sign a capable player. Right, you look at Game Legion, you know, they've just pulled out 3 fucking players who actually look like they might be able to maintain a level with them.
Well, it was obvious Flamus was going to be good. There was a huge race to sign Flamus.
I just feel like it might be too soon for Heavy God. Oh, not too soon, but like, at least fucking do something on OG before you get these moves. And the JKS one, like, I get it, but fuck off. Just fuck off. I don't know what it is about it. It just seems stupid to me. Well, yeah. But to go on to your RMR point, right? The thing that pisses me off about it more isn't the whole like, oh, but we can get NA and we can get an easier one, and it isn't even anything to do with the, if you're a good team, you should make it through an RMR or whatever. You have fucking Nath and Twist, right? 2 of the best players in NA history, 2 of the best players in the world in their roles. You have a top 3 IGL in the world. You should qualify from any RMR just off the back of having those 3 players.
Yes.
What the it's mind-blowing. I know you might want your little fucking Brazilian fans to pump up your money and your social numbers. Good for you. Your Brazilian parts are the worst parts of your team. If you can't find someone in NA that you think is worth the time, if you don't, want to pivot to like fucking Malbs or Rec or Swish or any of those people on big bastard M80 contracts, go and sign some fucking EU people who can actually turn you into a good roster. Like,
yeah,
because you're not there at the moment, and you should be, because you have 3 of the most valuable players. No, fuck it. I don't like the guy. Well, actually, I've got nothing wrong with him. I think he's a really nice bloke, actually. I just think he's incredibly overrated. You've got 4 of the best players in the world in their roles with your Kindar. Like, Yekindar is incredibly overrated because of what he was in the online era, but that doesn't stop him from being fucking good.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop him from being fucking good. There is no excuse. Just sign someone fucking good for that 5th spot.
But it doesn't need to be a world beater, is the thing. It really doesn't need to be a world beater. Someone like Volt would come in and do a job. It's someone like Mezzi, when Mezzi gets dumped off Vitality, and then, you know. But my concern is also that I doubt sure they're going to keep these star parts. I think there's been some stuff. People are talking about Twist leaving already. I think it was his ambitious project, and I think the parts on it. I think Twist and Majors could have had very similar 6 months, and both of them dislike their lives now, basically. I don't know, but I do think it's salvageable. I just do think it's salvageable. I think we've had conversations before about, you know, Alexi and Blade, and how can that ever work when Blade is big dicking Alexi all the time? Like, how can you ever buy in fully in it? And, you know, they've been shit since the major, obviously, but you can click. You can
I dispute
work
that.
through these things.
Shit since the major.
They have been shit since the major. They've regressed to their mean, which was bad.
I don't think their mean was bad, but carry on.
Well, they shouldn't be losing to the teams they lost to at Dallas, for sure. But yeah,
they lost to Spirit and Heroic. They shouldn't lose to Heroic.
Heroic had Nikados, bro.
I said they shouldn't lose to them. Whatever. Wrong team. Carry on.
But yeah, I think you have to take this off season slowly and look in the mirror and ask yourself, can we get a better in-game leader than cadiaN? And if your answer is yes, then fair enough. You've got deeper pockets than even I thought. And we know how deep Liquid's pockets are. They are minted. But a better IGL than cadiaN? Don't know. And if you're doing this whole Twist or Yekindar IGL thing again, then just fast forward 6 months until the next roster change, and you try and sign like the new IGL on the block, because, you know, I think Shuey and Kixan are gone. I don't think you're going to sign either of them.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Who else is there that's young? So no, I think you have to stick with cadiaN. If you come to any conclusion other than we should stick with cadiaN, I don't know what to say. And it could be as a rifler as well. Like, this is the, you know, okay, because cadiaN's shit torping on CS2, according to some people. We're still going to call it. Stick him on a rifle. It'd be fine. If cadiaN, because you could bet if cadiaN's on a rifle, he would be that type of hooksy IGL, wouldn't he? Like, he's not, you know, he would be going first for your kids a lot of the time. And then maybe you sign Nork for 65,000. Like, 65,000? How many skulls is Nork? You could get 9 Norks for 1 skulls. 9. Just get in. And then you have Twist in phase rolls, Naf, Lurker, Anchor, cadiaN bitch entry, Yekindar star entry. So, it's a better team. You know it's a better team.
So this is, you know, something I was going to ask you. Is
Dexter was on like pennies as well, in a way.
Why
available this whole time?
Why, you know, even if you're not happy, you know, let's say it's not exclusively just we don't like cadiaN as a leader. We also think he's a shit awper. Let's say it's not exclusively that, right? Like, just shut up, grow up. cadiaN can rifle. He's literally said in the past, I am happy to rifle. There are like good offers. Whatever. cadiaN go rifle. Be a bitch. It solves an issue with roles within the team. Great. And then, you know, yeah, okay, you can't get Nork anymore. Hades has just come on the market. Hades is pretty decent. I reckon he's probably a bit of a knob, considering Ents were willing to cut him.
Yeah, he's their best player.
Because he has been quite good.
There's something going on.
He must be a prick. But who cares? He's still decent. And he's not going to be a prick when you're winning. He does miss a lot of sitters
as well.
Well, he does, but okay,
he doesn't.
Fine.
We love missing sitters.
Fine. Look,
Do you know, if
I'm
they
good
could
at
actually have big balls,
yeah, you're about to say it. Let me say it first. They got big
Right.
balls. They got big pockets. There's a player who used to play for you lads.
no,
used to
I'm not
play
talking
for
about
you.
that one. That one would be a risk I'm
Oh.
not that's not worth taking. I'm talking about a different,
Fuck it. Take the risk.
different one.
Take the fucking risk. If you're,
I'm talking
you
about
better not.
$5 million being chucked at G2
Yeah, no.
because Liquid's the only team probably. Liquid and Falcons probably the only teams that could do it.
Cloud9 could do it.
I mean, he'd be a massive idiot for saying it. But start scattergunning, boys, because Simples obviously does exist. Can I see cadiaN, Yakindra, Simple, and Twist working really well as a full-man unit buying into cadiaN's system? No.
Look, I'm not saying I can.
I can't
can.
really see that.
Oh, no, but okay, but hear me out, right? If it doesn't work...
We've just talked about the need for soldiers.
Yeah, that's good. If it doesn't work, right, you've got this not working, which is sad and makes me unhappy, and then you've got that not working, which would be so public and so funny. Like, can you imagine when they get knocked out of tournaments and Simple's there looking like he's about to kill 4 small children, and like you or Striker or Lucas gets to go up to him, come check to HLTV, and Simple's just there like, these guys, they're so shit. Like, it'd be so good. You'll spend the next year of your life speculating which one of them he doesn't rate. You're still
it's easy to guess for Simple. It's all of them. It's all of them.
You're still convinced he hates Bit.
Oh yeah, there's not hate, but yeah. When he was looking along the line, I know he was looking at. Okay, I know.
Yeah, it wasn't nipple.
But anyway, this. Well, it was him as well, obviously. But it was Perfecto sometimes. Like all these people are, fucking Perfecto. If he can speak English, he's a bit naffy, but he's a bit more aggressive than that. I think on T-side he is more of a magician shush type vibe. Get Perfecto in, boys. Have a thought of this. Get Perfecto in. Anyway, besides the point, awpers. I think you do have to moneyball your awper. And it's why I would talk about Dexter and Norg, because they were bargain bucket for very solid awpers. I think you could probably... So that's the thing. Would you rather get Perfecto in, keep cadiaN awping? It's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. But I think Perfecto is just going to wait until Spirit lose the tournament and try and replace On6. That feels like what's going to happen. So maybe unrealistic. In terms of awpers, I think you've got a moneyball, and then you've got to look at Slends of the world. In a few months. Probably too soon. Definitely too soon.
Poddy could turn out to be really good. Ents are always willing to cash in.
Ents love a cash in. They love a cash in. But, this is the... Let me get it up some awpers. Okay. But because this thing is obviously really difficult. It's obviously really hard.
Genuinely, I think you either stick it out and see
Wrinkle is really good.
Wrinkle is really good, but
like
you just
Wrinkle.
went to near. Like, you either stick it out and see if Poddy ends up being good, or you do have to go for Simple or Hades. Because, I think you can...
Yeah, Simple, yeah. You might have to.
I think you can cough up $5 million, and I still think G2 say no.
Yeah,
I really don't know. I really don't know what G2... Like, I don't know what they'd accept. Because I've heard things about what they've been offered.
Yeah, everyone has.
For Monacy. Like, it's ridiculous. And they said no. There's like 2 transfers in esports history, maybe 3, that would be bigger. I can think of 1 in League and 1 in Valorant that would have a higher value than the number that's being offered. Like,
so yeah, this is why I was joking. It's not happening. Liquid.
No.
I've just noticed something that maybe... So on T-side, there's one awper out of my sample who's got a lower rating than cadiaN. And it's your boy Alistair. right? cadiaN and cadiaN both have about 0.92 T-side rating. So an AWPer should be getting...
T-side?
cadiaN has been so bad since he came back. You want 1.1, 1.05 to 1.1 on T-side if we're being generous, because, you know, most of the fragging does come on CT side. And seeing that, you know, I still believe what I said about cadiaN, the X Factor stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I do think if you get a stable AWPer and then cadiaN becomes the sacrificial in-game leader, I think that's as good an option as signing a Vault, keeping the system. I think both of those are much better options than replacing cadiaN and having to make 2 transfers.
Do you think it's a sad thing if cadiaN was to become Hooksy?
Well, I think he'd be better than Hooksy, and I think he'd ask for some rotate spots. But yeah, I like variation. I like the role compression that an AWPer gives you. I think Twists would miss his role if he had to go back to his phase role. I think he would miss it, because I think that role that him and Stown and Flit have, I guess Flit's not quite the same, but pretty similar. Like that role that they have, even Zartaris has it on some maps for Eternal Fire, like being able to roam but also frag, that's a really nice role. And I love players like that. I love the ability to have players like that. But ultimately it's not meta for a reason. I think the meta is to have your best player have the best gun. And as much as, you know, I don't think cadiaN is stinky. It's as stinky as his rating maybe implies. You probably do want a star AWPer, because it's just that this is what we've come to. Like you need an AWPer that shoots really hard. You have to have a heroic like system, an outsiders like system. The teams of AWPing IGLs that have done really well since Fallen, and Fallen was the outlier because he was the second best player in the world according to a great website at the time.
You've said that with the level of disdain I talk about Blast tournaments.
No, that was
poor from you. That was poor from you.
No,
well, apart from looking for stats on
that
website, because looking for stats on HLTV is fucking miserable. Carry on.
It was a good call, I think. Cultural impact. Fallen is top cultural impact. Every author's like, oh, I love Fallen. So anyway, point is the more recent AWPing IGL teams.
Afro shit.
He took a few opening passes from Afro. I don't think he loves Afro. I think that though there have been soldier teams, there's not been super teams. The AWPing IGL teams have been soldiers, and I think James probably. I don't know how long he's going to get in VP. I really don't. I'm really not sure, because them and Liquid have been on very similar trajectories. Signing Electronic, I think, will maybe accelerate. I think the way the management are talking, they're talking like they've got money to spend, and they want to spend it. And I think maybe
that's coming
James is going to go away. Yeah, so I wouldn't ask if it was me. I wouldn't ask.
This bloke in Armenia.
Point is, cadiaN might need to just be a rifler to extend his career a bit. Because you know that's what cadiaN AWPed in 2015 for a bit in some maps.
Yeah.
It's no shame. There's no shame in doing it. Because no, Woxic was there.
No, but didn't Woxic go and then cadiaN did it for like a little bit?
If it was online era, I wasn't watching. Maybe.
Well,
he loves the secondary one. He loves to pull it out when he's 0-9 on playing B on Mirage. That happens every game still. So, yeah. So I think I've talked myself into it. I think you keep cadiaN, obviously, because there's not a better IGL. Twist and Yukida are not better IGLs. But he has to rifle. And you go back in time with a time machine and sign 0 for 65k.
Genuinely, I came into this episode and I said to you, before we got going, I hope you come up with an IGL, because I refuse to even think.
I could come up with ones, but they're not going to go.
I was gonna do my whole dickish fucking persona where I'm like, no, you're stupid, they're shit, whatever. I was gonna do that because, like, I think it's fucking absurd And then I had the worrying realization of, like, Twists or Yekindar would end up IGLing, and I realised that it wasn't a dickish thing, it was just because it is the worst idea on planet Earth to remove cadiaN from this team. But then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, okay, so... And in the episode plan, I've got replacing Skullz, replacing Yekindar, and I've got what if cadiaN rifles. And the what if cadiaN rifles was just kind of an afterthought of like, well, it is a possibility. But as we've gone on through this episode, as we've gone on through this episode, you know, I've gone from you replace Skullz and Yekindar, or you replace just Skullz, because like I've made it very clear cadiaN is one of my favourite players of all time. Like, he's a fucking moments player.
Same.
He's a good IGL. He's an AWP IGL. Like, he ticks so many boxes for reasons why I love Counter-Strike. And I don't want to lose cadiaN AWP IGL the same way I don't want to lose Jame AWP IGL. But I also want to see this team be good, because I've always liked Twists, and I've always liked Naf, and I like Liquid. And I have just realised, kind of like you've talked yourself into it, and this is weird because we're now in one of those places where we actually agree with each other.
Every week.
That makes us uncomfortable, but it is happening more and more often. cadiaN rifling and making sure that the people on this team buy into his system, and honestly, like, it would also give the room to put Twist back into the roles where, like, he's been good, but he's very good in those roles.
He's much better in these roles. Much better.
No, of course he is.
Like his
Because
current ones, he's better than he's ever been in FaZe.
Yeah, but there are very
Rating-wise.
few players that are as good as Twist in the old roles.
Yes, also true. And he still
Which
have
I
more
think-
space on CT.
Which I think is more valuable.
Yep.
cadiaN rifling and IGLing is the best possible outcome for this Liquid team. By a mile.
Yeah.
The problem
His
is...
mental say though.
The problem is that it's come too late to get Nork. Hades might be a knob. It's too early to get Poddy, if he's even good. Which does kind of leave you at a point where you either have to tell G2 to fill in the blank
No,
check,
That's not
or you have to give your old mate Simple a call. And that ain't
GXX
gonna
just
work
became a
out.
free agent.
Yep, we'll throw that one in the bin. But this is the problem, and this is why, at least my realization as we've gone through this episode, is this team, for as promising as it was, is going to go down in history like fucking what, the Juggernaut or the Colossus on crack, of just teams that, you know, could have been something and just it never materialised, because this
It's
team's
very
going
like
to
the
implode.
Cloud9 one, isn't it?
This
Very like
team is
Cloud9.
going to implode. They cannot, like, there isn't an awper out there. Because if Hades is a knob, he doesn't solve an issue. He just adds another one. If Simple comes in, Simple won't do what cadiaN needs unless cadiaN is willing to change the system because of his role change.
Yes.
Like, Munacy's unavailable. Nork is off the market. Poddy,
Regali's
who knows?
benched, but I think he must be a prick to have been benched.
Yeah,
as well.
he's meant to be a prick, and he's not exactly a star AWPer. Like,
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
he's pretty good, but I don't think he's a
By the
liquid
way,
level star AWPer.
Heavy God has just been knocked out of the Nomadic Masters by Chinggis Warriors. Just thought you'd like to know that. Just
I
lost.
did like to know that, actually. Thank you.
He got a 1.03 rating. But yeah, he'll solve all the
What a
problems,
player.
I'm sure.
What a player. But yeah, this is kind of, I'll let you say something in a second, but my kind of end note now is just one of mild depression, because I've realised this team is likely just going to implode. Twists will be gone. Nath will probably stay while Liquid rebuilds some form of mediocrity. Maybe Yekindar will. cadiaN will probably have to go rebuild his career on some shit tier 2 team. And it's just an unfortunate waste of time for everyone involved. I honestly, I don't see another route anymore. Because even if cadiaN tops roles, it's just not going to work out.
I think they could be pretty stable top 10 team just by cutting Skullz and getting like a Volt or just like a stable, more versatile T-side player. Is that enough to keep Twist? Probably not. So yeah, I'm trying to be more positive. I always have to do this. You always end up doomer, just being the doomer.
It's kind of my thing.
But yeah, I mean, the thing with this episode is we are living in an absolute dreamland. cadiaN is gone. They're going to get rid of cadiaN, and it's not what either of us would do. It's not what any reasonable person would do, based on the options available. And they might surprise us. They might be able to get one of those 6 marquee IGLs that exist in the whole world that are as good as cadiaN. I don't think they will. Yeah, it is a bit depressing because this team should have been so much fun. It should have been so much fun. But I just think there's just too much going on. These grand projects with, all these different schools of thought going on at once. I think that they're so much fun on paper. They're the type of things we talk about on this podcast all the time. We're always thinking of things like this. It's just in the real world, it's much more boring. You need much more stability. And I still really want to see cadiaN on an international team get a proper chance to show that his system can be adapted and that they can have elements of it and not the full heroic. I think that's what I want to see. And I'm just very worried that's not going to be on Liquid.
Do you know where that's going to be? It's going to be on Mouse. It's going to be on Mouse. I'm going to predict now what happens. We'll come back to this in a year's time. We won't. We'll forget. But we'll come back to this in a year's time. karrigan will retire. FaZe will get Shuey. Maybe Shuey wants a few of his mates, maybe not.
Zertian goes for rank, for sure.
Almost definitely. cadiaN, after he's benched and somehow escapes, will be on some shitty tier 2 team for however long. Like, he will drop down. There is no way he doesn't. There's, honestly, probably the best he can hope for if this goes to shit is Fnatic.
That'd be really good, though. That'd be really fucking good.
Do you know what? Off the top of my head, best case scenario.
No,
complexity,
they do like
but I'm pretty sure they're just... Yeah, I don't think it's a thing of whether they get rid of JT. I think they just come and ask him to be a fucking awper and he have to usurp JT if Hulzerg was to leave, but I'm pretty sure that isn't happening.
I mean, NIP will be quite annoyed that they didn't get him.
NIP would be huge.
Because NIP wants to.
But okay, so cadiaN goes and has his little spell wherever, Fnatic, best case scenario, whatever. Shuey's gone, maybe Torzy follows, who knows. But Mouse will be like, cadiaN, come and do your little karrigan arc. And cadiaN will think, fucking hell, that's another chapter. That's another chapter in this story I didn't expect. And he'll go Mouse. And he'll keep having to do his main character thing, which I think is an unfair characterization. I think he's only ever really main charactered once, and it was against Gamer Legion. And I think that's what will happen. I'm being serious.
This is
like, fuck off.
I don't know what you want me to add to this.
No, but
the clip. Sonny Boy's best football player in the world. Hey, you got back. You've derailed the episode right at the end. This is nonsense.
That's my prediction.
Right, whatever. My
cadiaN
prediction.
Will end up on Mouse.
We just get to chuck out shit predictions now. Mouse are Astralis 2018, and Brolan is Kjaerbye.
Wouldn't that be 2017?
17, yes. But the Mouse core are Astralis because They're so much better than the sum of their parts. It's insane. And Jimmy is such a zip regen. Like, that's also,
I honestly really like
Zersh
that
is pretty Dupree now, is consistent.
I think
Torgy's
that's a really
not
take.
Device, admittedly. It's quite hard for Torgy to be Device, but it's quite hard for anyone to be Device.
That
I
might be
think
your best take.
Zershan equals Dupree, Shuey equals Glaive, and Jimmy equals Zipix. They match like pretty 1-to-1, to be honest. Pretty 1-to-1.
That might be your best ever take. And with that was our episode on Team Liquid.
There we go.
OG, Na'Vi, Mouse, cadiaN's future career, and everything else that we randomly derailed the episode for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
What an odd closing couple of statements for that.
You fucked up
Either
first.
way, I did fuck up first. I'm sorry. It was just because we were talking about cadiaN too much. Either way, this team's going to implode. You can be hopeful. It's going to implode. It sucks. Honestly, fuck Team Liquid for what they've done to cadiaN. I hope this time that random person I alluded to earlier on in the episode is quite happy because we've backed him highly, whoever that person may be, and I hope that we get a thank you, not an angry message about...
I think he's going to be a bit busy, mate, to be honest.
Well, he might be, but he seems to like you. Maybe not after that. Well,
no.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I've been Sam
so.
Animo Mackenzie. He's been some bloke who I used to talk to a lot more than I do nowadays. We only really talk to do this shitty podcast now. We're actually going to record some episodes because we're both busy boys soon. It probably won't happen. Let's face it, it's us. Like the video, subscribe. Let us know what the fuck you do to fucking Liquid, because I'm just depressed now. Fucking bye.
Cheers, my day's ruined.